Look at the top left-hand corner of your screen. There might be a little, like a volume button or a microphone button.
Okay.
Okay, now can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah, there it is.
All right, very good. Okay, so let me make that one smaller, make this one bigger. Lori, whenever you're ready, I'm ready. Howdy, Stall High TikTok. Stall High.
We're live.
We're live. Okay, welcome, guys. It is episode 14 of Stall Talk, and we are declaring this one Do This, Not That edition. So I'm really excited once again about today. Stall Talk is brought to you again by lifeenthusiast.com. Martin Pytela is with us again this week. We're going to dive right in, and we're going to find out the do's and don'ts of winning $1 million in rodeo with bareback riding extraordinaire, RC Landingham. RC, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. So you've had quite an interesting Christmas NFR season.
Yeah, it has been a spectacular year this year, and just in December alone has been quite unreal, really. And my family and I are very blessed and thankful for everything that's happened to us.
So 8 seconds, one ride, $1 million. A lot of people, the press has done a great job covering this, but there are a lot of people that are new to hearing the words Triple Crown and rodeo in the same sentence. We're used to hearing Triple Crown in the horse racing industry, but tell us a little bit about this opportunity, and did it feel like you've prepared a lifetime for this one ride?
Yeah, like you said, one ride in 8 seconds, but it's been 13 years of 8 seconds, right? 8-second rides. So it's been a really long road to get to where I'm at. But to have an opportunity to ride one horse for that amount of money it's a new thing that they've created, and it's a great opportunity for rodeo athletes to be able to have. The Triple Crown is the WCRA puts on major events. So if you win 3 major events in a row, you can win $1 million bonus. And that's what I ended up doing.
And you're the first cowboy in history to get the job done.
Yeah, so far, but I think it's going to take off now. And I see it happening a lot more often now.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So I'm curious, did you get one check for $1 million, or is it purse money that's paid out over time?
It'll be one straight payment. They're going to wait till January. So I'll have a year to figure out what I'm going to do with it, because I've never had that kind of money in my bank account before. So they're going to give me a little time to figure out how to invest it and where to put it, and kind of allow me to give myself some time to set up my future.
So I'm actually glad you started with that. That's a great direction to step in first. At Stall High, we're on a mission, and we've done something called Top 15 Challenge the last 2 years during the NFR. We interviewed you twice this year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're on a mission to really dive deep and understand what it takes to get to the next step, physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. So do you have initial plans for how you're going to multiply this $1 million? What you will invest in? Anything you can share with us?
Not really yet. I just won it last week, and then we've had Christmas, and I've just kind of been, and I got it deferred to January. So I really have been trying not to think about it, just focus on my family and Christmas right now. But I'm going to speak to some financial advisors and learn about where a good place to put certain pieces of it will be. I'm going to invest in some property for sure, and things that go back into my rodeo career, as far as like building a gym and things of that sort. After rodeo, I see myself.
I think we froze, Lori.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was my end. Yeah, he froze.
There you go. Okay, RC, you're
Okay.
back. So after rodeo, what are your plans?
Well, I live on a ranch in Hat Creek right now. My in-laws run a bunch of Black Angus cattle here, so I imagine I'll be around here, close to this area, and doing something along the ranching lines. As far as right now I'm still going to continue to rodeo. I think I got a few years left in me, and after winning this million, it takes a lot of pressure off of me, and it'll allow me to really enjoy rodeo and not have stress about money and the financial side of it. So I'm gonna rodeo a little bit different the next few years, and hopefully end my rodeo career at a place where I want to be, and then move on to the next chapter.
Okay, so I like those words, rodeo different. I did a little TikTok earlier today promoting this Stall Talk episode, and we want to learn from you keys. Like, what keys do you hold in your hand that are experience, expertise, decisions you've had to make? Most people are going to ask you, how did you do it? We more specifically want to know what you didn't do. What are some of the things that you had to say no to? And maybe they were some good things, but they enabled you to say yes to something even better. So that's where I want to go with the time that we have with you today. And you mentioned spending time focused on your family. So let's start with your family. Tell us about your wife, and where'd you meet her, and when did you know she was the one?
I met Bliss, my wife, in high school. Actually, we rodeoed together in District 1, California, Northern California, high school rodeo. And we actually dated in high school for a short amount of time. And then I moved to Oregon for 10 years, and we never really talked or anything through all that. And then just kind of randomly started talking again back in 2014. And she flew out to Denver and went to a rodeo with me. And that's kind of where it all started. And we got married in 2019. Been married for 3 years now. We got a little boy named Wynn. And he's turned into a little wild animal, but he's a lot of fun, and he enjoys the rodeos, and yeah, that's all been really good.
That's cool. I like his name.
Yeah, so my mother's name was Wendy, and she passed away from cancer back in 2017. So he kind of got Wynn from short for Wendy, I suppose.
Well, I like the double meaning too.
Yeah.
Born into a champion family, and what a cool legend to carry on.
Yeah, he's got some shoes to fill now for sure. So he'll be fun raising him up in the rodeo world and seeing where he takes it.
So you will say yes if he wants to rodeo?
Oh yeah, if he wants to. He won't have to, but if he wants to, he will for sure.
And how about Bliss? Does she still rodeo?
She does not rodeo anymore. She high school rodeoed, college rodeoed, did breakaway roping a little bit, but was more into goat tying, barrel racing. And she did outstanding through high school and college, and then moved on after college. She moved on. She was a banker for a while, and now she does cosmetology, and she really enjoys that. So she's happy where she's at right now.
Well, good for her. I know rodeo, especially when you pursue it as a full-time job, and that's your lifestyle. So Matt Reeves, he coaches for us at Stall High every Monday night. Last night, we had a great conversation about New Year's resolutions. Do you have a realistic goal, or are you kind of stuck in fantasy land? You have to have a mentor to figure that out, because really only a mentor is going to know the difference.
Yeah.
So it's hard on a relationship when you rodeo full-time.
It really is.
Some keys. What are some things that you guys have had to learn to set aside time, specifically when you do have time together? How do you make that relationship work when it is very difficult with you gone as much as you have to be gone?
Well, that's kind of the nice thing about winning this million, is it's going to change the way that I rodeo even more so. But like last year, I changed a lot where I wouldn't let myself be gone from home for more than 2 weeks. That was kind of my max. And before, it was like, well, I have to go rodeo. I have to be on the road full time if I want to make the finals and be able to make a living doing this. But now I look at it as time away from home it gets hard on you, and it does things to your mind. You're not mentally and physically there, and you have to be mentally there 100%. And going home for even a day or two, kind of resetting, take your mind off the rodeo, spend some time with your family, and then turn around and come back. You can be in a slump be rodeoing for 2 weeks and not win a check, and be in a slump, and go home for one day, clear your head, spend some time with your family, turn around and go back to a rodeo. And take off winning, and the whole thing changes that fast. And so I try to spend as much time at home as I possibly can. If I have a couple of days off, I'll be on a plane flying home, and that always seems to help me mentally to stay focused on what I need to be doing.
Gotcha. And I'm sure that wasn't easy to do. You were at once justifying, I have to go to rodeo because that's how I'm going to win. If I'm not there, I'm not going to win. For my own marriage, and Chad and I have been married 25 years now. One of the best things he ever did, I remember the day we were having one of very few knockdown drag out fights, an argument about how much he went hunting, because he likes to hunt as much as I like to rodeo. And in the beginning, that was the only thing we disagreed about. And he was upset with me because I wanted him to spend time at home, and he obviously wanted to go hunt. That's what he grew up loving to do. And the phone rang. We didn't have cell phones back then. I don't remember, but I remember him answering the phone, and he was livid. And he listened, and I could hear his buddy on the other phone saying, we're leaving or something. Are you going? He said, y'all go on without me. And I'm across the room just looking at him, and I can hear his buddy say, why? And Chad said, because it wouldn't be good for my marriage. Click. And that was profound for me, because he chose me just that one time. It helped our relationship so much. And I think that's part of why we're still married today, 25 years later.
Yeah.
What are some things that you do to surprise her?
Well, I need to be better about it for sure. But like you're saying, it is very important to make sure you meet on both sides of it. Like, she's got to have fun too, and she's got to be able to do what she wants to do. And it's hard because she's at home with our little boy all the time, and I'm rodeoing, which technically that is my job. That's how I make a living, and that's how we pay our bills. And so she understands that, but then at the same time, she's stuck at home and she has to do all the discipline stuff by herself, and I'm out kind of doing what I enjoy doing, and it's not really fair. So when every chance I can get to fly both of them out, or even just her, and send Win with the babysitter to his grandparents' house or wherever, just to get some time, get her out of the house, go let her enjoy some things as well, helps a lot. And then trying to get her to go spend more time with her friends when she can. Get just like I said, get her off the ranch and get her away from the day-to-day routine, and that seems to help her quite a bit.
That's good advice for any cowboy listening, whether you're listening live or you're going to catch this replay, guys. This is world champion wisdom coming to you right now from RC Landingham. So let's talk about challenges. You've talked about losing your mom, Wendy, and I know that was you were still really young, and you two were really close. What other challenges have you faced that were just really difficult to overcome?
Yeah, we've been through a lot. It kind of started my rookie year, really, is when the injury started. I was in a bull riding accident in Houston, Texas, and that cost me winning rookie of the year. That year, I had to sit out a few months and heal up from a lot of injuries from that. And then the next year I was in a bad auto accident that took me out for a year and a half. So I basically didn't really get started and have a healthy season until 2013. And then I ended up 16th that year, 16th the next year, 19th the following year. And then I finally made the NFR after that. And then in 13, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. So we kind of battled through, me getting to the NFR and her battling through cancer. It was it was a struggle for both of us, obviously, and watching her having to battle with cancer got rid of any excuse that I had to. If I could come up with an excuse to not make the NFR, what kind of excuse could she come up with? So her having cancer just made me find all the positivity in life and keep pushing through all the struggles and failures. And we finally got to the NFR in 2016. And then she passed away 3 months after the NFR in February of 17. And so, yeah, it's been a lot of struggles. And then 17, I dislocated my left shoulder, ended up having 3 consecutive shoulder surgeries the next 3 years. So I basically didn't rodeo through 18, 19, and 20. I didn't really rodeo at all. And then made the finals in 21 and then now. So there's been a lot of obstacles to overcome, but my goal since I was a little kid was to be a world champion and to be the best I could possibly be at what I do. And I've kind of set myself to only work towards the goal of being the best at riding bucking horses. And it's hard for me to really focus on something else like the future, which I need to, especially at this age. I need to start planning for the future and what's next. But so far through my career, I've just tried to keep my mind 100% focused on riding bucking horses. And now that's all going to change because financially I'm able to work on something else. Physically, yeah, I'm getting a little bit older for a bareback rider. So I don't know how many years I have left. I'm gonna go as long as I can. And as long as I'm healthy and able to win, I'll still keep rodeoing. But I know that I'm at a spot now where I need to start focusing on the future and what's going to happen next. So my goals will start changing.
So how old are you, RC?
32.
Okay. And I remember when you came into the press room, you're really tall.
Yeah.
So is that normal for a bronc rider?
No, it's not. Most bareback riders are shorter, but I guess there's a few of us that are living proof that it's possible and you can still win whatever size you are, I guess. But it's physically, I would say it's harder on your body being tall. We're less.
That's what I was going to ask. So why is it? Because we like to measure the angles of a ride. So we're geeking out. We have a new software that we're using that will help us really understand the angles more and how much force is being applied to a horse. But now in your case, we're going to think about how much pressure is being applied to your body just because of the extra height. Okay, you got longer legs, you got a longer torso. Does that, how does that wear and tear affect your joints maybe more so than someone else?
Yeah, and I'm not saying it affects me worse than anyone else. Bareback riding is a physically demanding event. It's going to be hard on anybody that does it. But being 6'2", if you think about the length of a horse's back, my head and shoulders are over their tail head. So when they kick, their butt's hitting me in the back of the shoulders, where a short guy is compact. So they're going to get the full surface and they're not going to get folded over the back of a horse. My legs are longer, so my feet reach past their neck a lot of times. Just the physics of it are a little bit different. Physically, yeah, it might be a little bit harder on me, but it's hard on everybody. But the difference between now and 5 years ago is the athletes themselves and what they do on a day-to-day basis and how they maintain their bodies to put up with the beating that we have to take.
It's getting better, don't you think?
Yeah, it's been a night and day difference over the last, probably mainly the last 5 years, but each year, even this year, is a big difference from last year. And I think once one or two guys started working at it harder, spending more time in the gym, eating healthier, then it starts going down the line and people say, well, they're doing that. Maybe I should do that. If I want to win, I got to do that too. And it's just expanding that way. And everybody's really turning into athletes now.
I love that. And we want to follow the leaders. We want to find out, what works for you, what didn't work for you, the do's and don'ts of bareback riding. So what's one technique that you realized early on was not going to work for you because you're taller?
I never really thought of it that way. I don't think, I don't know. We all have to work at it the same. And
okay.
That's putting it in 100% effort and taking the best care of your body. Back then, it was more about having fun and not worrying about the finances and maybe going to the beer stand too much and things of that nature. But now having a family, having a child at home, having to support them, usually I'll go to rodeo and we'll either get in the truck and drive a couple hours or just go to bed, because maybe it's because I'm getting older. I don't know, but that's just kind of what we enjoy now is going, doing our job and going to the next rodeo and then getting home if we can to be with our families, and winning and being successful and doing things that make you successful is what I really enjoy about it.
So what is one mistake that you see young competitors making that you also made and you wish you could just intervene for them? What would that be?
Well, I think a lot of young guys that get involved with rodeo, maybe they had growing up, obviously they're young, so they weren't exposed to the rodeo lifestyle. And then a lot of young guys start rodeoing and then they see all the freedoms that they can have and fun opportunities, if you will, to go do whatever they want to do. And it's easy to just head down the wrong road right off the bat in the rodeo world. So if you can get around people that are winners or that have a mindset like me, and you look at the top 20 guys in the world standings almost in every event, everyone kind of has that same mentality of being in the gym, working hard to be the best you can be. Whereas when you first get on the road, you're young and talented and athletic, and you think you're on top of the world and you can win everything already. And then you kind of start having too much fun and just slowly veer off on this wrong road. And a lot of times you don't even realize it. So I just think it's really important to surround yourself with people that win and want to do the right things to get there.
Well, you are speaking our language at Stall High. So that's what's happening at Stall High, especially in the higher level of mentorship. So we have a team of coaches like Matt Reeves, and we can ask questions every night of the week through a Zoom, much like this one. And it's fascinating to see the progress that we're now making. And it's more fun when you do have people, and it's not as stringent as holding you accountable, but it's just having a group of people who believe in you and are there through the ups and downs. And it's not just rodeo, just learning how to ride your horse better, right? I think it helps to have a group of people that you ride with that help support you when you're feeling low, that help support you when you are questioning, what on earth am I doing? And you've been very candid about that. I've watched several interviews where you ask yourself multiple times, like, what's the point? Or am I aging out? How did you learn to handle doubt? How did you take those thoughts of doubt captive and set them aside?
The only doubt that I've ever really had was throughout my shoulder surgeries, and that was just because I had done it 3 times consecutively, and I just didn't know. I was like, I've done it twice already, and they both failed on me. And years of not being able to compete, not being able to financially make ends meet. Did I want to try it again? Did I want to have to go through another shoulder surgery? But then at the same time, it was like, okay, I'm doubting it, but I've already spent 3 years. What's one more going to hurt now? And I kind of had the last surgery, took the full time to let it heal, and went through everything the best I possibly could. And then my wife was like, you have to try it one more time. I mean, you've done it this much now. Why not? I mean, what's it going to hurt? I mean, yeah, maybe I'll have to have another shoulder surgery, but at least you'll know. So that's what I did. And thank God we went with that option, because it's finally really paid off.
Good job. Go Bliss.
Yeah.
Okay, so describe the horse that you chose for the $1 million ride. Why Freckled Frog and not another horse?
Freckled Frog is the horse that I knew the best out of those three. He's always really good, and I knew he was a horse that you could win first on. The other two were a little bit younger. One of them was really and I only knew them because I watched videos online of them. And the one that Dean Thompson won second on, I knew he was going to be really flashy, but he was a smaller horse that had some direction change, and I don't really fit small horses that well. So that's mainly the main reason I went with Freckled Frog, because I knew he was a solid horse and had a little more size to him. I figured that we would fit up better than the rest of them.
How old is that horse?
I'm not really sure. He's been around. He's got to be, I don't know, around 10 or so.
How many times have you ridden him?
Never. That's the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
He might be older than that. I'm not really sure, but yeah. First time I've ever been on him, and to be able to just walk up there and say I'm going to get on that one was pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. And so you mentioned him being seasoned. We talk about that a lot too at Stall High, and how long it realistically takes to season a horse. I'm just curious if a bucking horse, if a bronc gets consistent in their style, if you can kind of predict their feel and move, even if you haven't been on them. Did we lose you?
Yeah, now I got you.
Okay. So do they season like barrel horses? Do they become predictable in their movements?
Somewhat. Never 100%. You never really know for sure, but I mean, everybody has a bad day, animals just exactly the same. But yeah, after a couple of years of going down the road, they kind of figure out their normal deal. Not always though. Sometimes you'll have a horse be outstanding for 2 years, and then that's it. And then they just slowly kind of die off and don't really want to do it anymore. And then they get retired. So it just depends on the animal. And Freckled Frog's been around for quite a while, and he's always been pretty much the same. So I knew that was the one I wanted.
Tell us about air gel rigging handle pads. What are those?
That's just a impact gel that Barstow Pro Rodeo, I'm assuming that's what it is. I'm not really sure, I guess, but Barstow Pro Rodeo, they put a impact gel piece inside a rigging pad that goes underneath your rigging. So it's just an extra piece of padding between your rig and the horse, just to help prevent soring them up or anything like that. Riggins don't.
Something you ride with?
Yeah, I have I don't know if that's what the same thing that you're talking about is, but I do ride with the Barstow rigging pad with the impact gel in it.
Okay, yeah, I saw it on your Facebook. That's why I'm asking. So could you feel a difference when you started riding? Does it have any more give or play to it, or is it the same?
No, it's all about the same. I mean, there's little tiny differences in riggings and the way you set your equipment up that make a big difference. But as far as the pads, I've never really noticed any difference. I think it's mainly for the horse. Maybe it is a little more padding for them, but I don't really think it makes a huge difference.
So what's one of your pet peeves about a rigging not fitting just right? What do you feel? What would a newcomer know to look for by RC standard?
Well, I don't know. That's hard to say because everybody's a little bit different and everybody sets their gear up a little bit different. It's just kind of what's comfortable to you. For me, I like to set my rigging up to where my hand comes around in a perfect position, where if it's just a hair locked out here, it can pull you into your hand. If it's a hair too far around, then you can get on the end of your arm and kind of hang off the other side. So it's just a little tiny centimeter of a difference makes a world of a difference. So just little tiny changes that make a big difference.
So how long does it take you to set your rigging? to
Uh,
know like you got it?
well, it depends on how big of a hurry you're in. But
Okay.
I usually spend a full day, pretty much, just kind of getting all the little details sanded down and everything shaped up the way I like it. But as you ride a rigging,
Mhm.
it changes every time you pull a rigging down on a horse. It stretches and they start wearing down, and your rigging handle starts pulling down flatter as the older it gets. So there's little things you can do to make those last longer. But I go through 3 riggings a year, where some people will ride one rigging for 2 years. So everybody's just a little bit different.
Well, you read my mind, so that was going to be my next question. So how many times do you change the rigging? Interesting. And
Yeah.
so does I'm sure it feels different. I think you just said that it's going to feel different on some different horses, and it stretches a little bit. Do you know immediately when it's off, when something's not right in a ride?
I know before, like as soon as I slide up on my rigging to nod my head, I know if it's where I want it or not. But I'm the only, well, one of the only, I don't think very many other people do it. But when I pull my rigging down, I get in the chute and sit on my horse and kind of let the horse get a feel for me. And I do everything myself. So I can see both sides of my horse, and they're right underneath me. And I think that helps get your rigging exactly where you want it. Most everyone else has somebody pull on the outside of the chute, and they pull on the inside. For me, I just prefer being in there and getting a feel for the horse and letting them get a feel for me, and making sure all my gears set the way I want it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Interesting. We all learned something about bareback riding today. Do we have any questions from those of us who are in the Zoom right now? RC, I know you've got to get going because you have another commitment. Where's your next interview today?
Cowboy Channel here in about 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, thanks for making time for us today too.
Yeah,
if you
absolutely.
have a question, guys, drop it in the comments really quick in the Zoom.
I'd like to butt in with something.
Go ahead, Martin Pytela of Life Enthusiast. We're gonna let you close today when RC has to leave, but what's your question for him while he's here?
Well, the main point is that the reason athletes age out is because their enzyme reserves deplete. We humans are at our peak at about 27. And that's when the enzyme production ends. And then it's a downhill thing from there. And some people figure out how to replenish the enzymes and some don't.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, Tom Brady is a fine example of a guy who figured out nutrition and lifestyle, and he made it last way past everyone else, right? In his field, not in rodeo. I don't know rodeo samples, and so what I would say is that there is this inverse reaction where enough enzyme, feel young, or be young, have enzymes. We don't really know which one is the driver, but I can tell you that if I push your body full of enzymes, you're going to feel 27 again.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
is that part of your regimen, RC? Are you enzyme conscious?
No, I'm not. But I would like to learn more about that.
Maybe I need to connect you with Martin Pytela after this Zoom.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll share numbers.
Yeah, you bet.
Awesome. Well, RC, I know you have another interview to get to. Thanks so much for being generous with your time in the press room, and then again today on Stall Talk. And I'd love to have you back. So anytime you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area, so our ranch is in Aubrey. If you need a place to stay over a little bit, we have a little guest cabin out there for you and your wife. If you ever want to join Stall High, just hang out with us in one of the nightly Zooms. It's at 6 o'clock every night, Monday through Friday, and we're having a lot of fun. So we geek out on horsemanship and the mechanics of the whole ride. And I've been amazed the past year how much I've learned from rough stock riding and even bull riding, and how much it's helping me be a better barrel racer. So it's pretty fascinating. But Martin, you and I will continue Stall Talk. RC, we'll let you get going to your next interview. Where can we follow you?
follow me on Instagram, Facebook, mostly Instagram. That's the main platform, but yeah, I'd go there.
Okay. So everybody go follow RC Landingham on Facebook and Instagram. And if you haven't done so already, download the Stall High app. All right, RC, we're going to let you get to commitment. We're going to keep rolling. I'm going to pick Martin's brain some more.
All right. Thank you.
I appreciate your expertise and congrats on winning that $1 million.
Yeah, congrats. That's a rare
Yes,
achievement.
congratulations.
Rare achievement.
I appreciate it. Thank you all.
You inspire us all, sir.
Well, thank you.
All right, Martin, tell us more about enzymes.
Well, the thing
And
is,
I passed the 27 mark.
no, yes, we all
Mhm.
yes, we all did. But you can really flip the switch on this. I mean, in general, there are two types, digestive and systemic. And they're really similar, but in this sense, the enzyme is the equivalent to a spark plug and a spark in a combustion engine. You can have all the air you want, you can have all the fuel you want, no spark, no go.
Okay.
The enzyme is the switch that turns the transaction on. And it's made out of amino acids. Your body will assemble them from amino acids, but as your age advances, there's more and more stuff the body has to do. The liver gets busy with things. It doesn't make as many of these enzymes, and it just sort of declines. And with that decline, what slows down is the ability to repair. So you will see a child will fall over, bump themselves, create an injury, and it's healed in a day. On a 65-year-old, you see a mosquito bite that festers for months. It leaves a spot and then a dark spot, and the spot stays on and on and on. And you see that on people's legs, especially because they just don't repair fast enough. And that's the primary visual of slow immune repair.
And so this is why we don't have the energy. I mean, I've heard that hormones play a big part in our energy, declining energy as we age. And if I've heard it, it didn't catch my attention like what you're saying today. And I think you got RC's attention as well.
Yeah.
Enzymes play a key role in that.
Right.
And how much
so
energy
enzymes are destroyed by cooking, by heat, right? So whatever you cook, you destroy the enzyme. So for example, a raw carrot has an enzyme within it that will digest it. If you leave a carrot lying somewhere, it'll turn itself into digestive slime, right?
Mhm.
Well, if you cook it, you kill that enzyme off. If you pasteurize it, like as example, you take a bottle of juice. If you don't want it to spoil, meaning ferment, you need to kill off the enzymes. That's what they do. It's called pasteurization. So there's a gigantic difference between a freshly squeezed orange juice and a can on a shelf, and extrapolate it into every plant or fruit source. And so we acquire a lot of that in raw food, raw plant stuff, raw fruit stuff, raw meat stuff, if you can manage.
Which most of us get a little queasy with that one.
Steak tartare, take a slab of beef, put it under your saddle and ride for a day. It'll be tender by the evening.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I think I'm gonna stick with raw carrots. I do think about you every time I drink green juice now.
Yeah.
Which I do more of. So other than eating more raw foods, vegetables and meats, what are other ways that we can boost our enzymes?
Well, you'll have to supplement them. There are enzymes. There are the digestive, amylase, protease, lipase, galactase. Those are the common enzymes that will digest the different components like starches, proteins, fats, and the whatever. The really two popular ones are bromelain that comes from pineapple and papain that comes from papaya. Those are usually part of all of the enzyme mixes. And there, of course, are better or not better enzymes. One of the thing with enzymes is intensity. And oftentimes they quote it to you in milligrams, how many milligrams of enzyme you have in a capsule, but they don't tell you how dilute it is. It's sort of like you have 3 light bulbs, but are you getting 25-watt bulbs or 100-watt bulbs?
Okay, so how do we know how to measure?
Well,
we-
that's the hard thing. So the enzymes, each of them has these FU, the function units. And so you need to look. Like, for example, one of the common ones, say serrapeptase, which is used for dealing with scar tissue. This was one other thing that RC suffered a lot, injury. Okay. Right? When you injure a body, whether it's through twisting and tearing or through cutting, the repair is done with scar tissue. The tissue is called fibrin. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there are fibrinolytic enzymes that will take that apart. And serrapeptase is one of them. Anyway, so the serrapeptase, you can specify 100,000 units per gram or 10,000 units per gram. And then they say, well, and there's 50 milligrams in the capsule, but they don't tell you which.
Okay,
unless they're honest, in which case they do. So I deal with honest companies.
It pays to know Martin Pytela. life-enthusiast.com. Okay, so if someone wants to start boosting enzymes today, what would you recommend from your personal website, life-enthusiast.com?
Well, the typical body abuser who overexercises, the weekend warrior, the one who ends up just hurting after an activity, should have a serrapeptase type of enzyme. So they would be under enzymes systemic. We already talked about xylitol some time ago and Vitalzyme. I mentioned those after you wrenched your body in a ride. I put that forward. Mm-hmm. So those are them. Those are the ones you want to use when you're suffering physical challenges, body abuse. And then the digestive, they're in the digestive enzyme category, and you want to take those as with a meal, especially with every meal that contains cooked food, because the cooking will disable the enzyme that were in it.
Okay, so I'm looking right now at minerals, lacto.
So yeah. Okay. So if you would look into supplement.
Gotcha.
Enzyme, and there are 2 enzyme systemic and enzyme digestive.
I'm searching on your website right now.
Oh,
life-enthusiast.com.
It's probably easiest found by the navigation tree. You know, if you can put your mouse over where it says shop, and then on where it says supplement, and then select the enzyme out of that list.
Okay. Store. Is that where I'm going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Store, and then supplement on
I'm
the left.
I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see what I see.
Yeah, right.
You've intrigued me. Yeah, because I was, I'm on a mission. We had so much fun in Las Vegas during Top 15 Challenge that I want to encourage everybody who wants to be a part of this. Like, let's get legged up together, physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. Let's do this together so that it's more motivating. Lori, it says that my screen sharing has been disabled. I might have to become the co-host again. All right, here we go. All right,
cool. You're on it.
Yes.
And so scroll it up a wee bit. Yeah, there we go. Put your mouse over store.
Okay.
Wait a little, go to the left where it says supplement and wait on that. And then on the right side, now we have enzyme digestive at the bottom and systemic in the next column, right? So if you click on systemic here now, click it. It will have loaded, scroll down a wee bit. it will have loaded the ones that fall in this category. And xylitol is the one for the injuries. Fibrenza is great for that, but it's kind of more a general, all different things. Natacor is for people afraid of clots and heart disease, as is the NATO LP. And the Lipicept is for people who are afraid of cholesterol.
Okay.
And there's some more here, but
Daily antioxidant. Okay.
yeah, so that's the that's sort of like an all-in-one for people who just want to have a really simple life. Nothing specific, just antioxidant enzyme. And then if you go back to where you were, that would be the store. It's a pop down, supplement. And then you go to, I think you clicked on it rather than just waited on it.
I did. I was too fast.
Yeah, and this silly thing unfortunately loads itself slowly. So if you go to the bottom where it says enzyme digestive, same idea, right? We'll just scroll through some. So the HP is the general specialized digestive.
Okay.
This Fibrenza is kind of both ways. It tries to be both a fibrinolytic and a digestive. And then that blue label AL on the right side, that's for people who have issues with wheat. And the MF is for people who have issues with milk.
I do.
So that may be the one best for you.
Okay.
So that's the sort of tested and good value choices. I wanted to mention Las Vegas, and I wanted to mention the young guy's life on the road, which is the classic. One of the quickest way to age your body is to create oxidative stress, which is done metabolically through alcohol and fried food. And what else? Well, stay up late, party, right? That'll push your stress level high. So you will be aging quicker, right? When you're young, you can still repair, but the older you get, the longer it will take you to build back from these events. But the enzymes are a go past, what is it called? Free out of jail card or whatever it is.
Yeah, we want that. I want that. So, and part of it is we don't choose to stay up late. If it's a heavy rodeo season and you've got to get, from rodeo to rodeo in the middle of the night, well, that's
what you do.
A challenge on any age driver.
That's what you do.
Interesting. Well, I think it's interesting timing here as we wrap up 2022, as I personally listen to my mentors. I listen to my coaching team. I'm listening to you every week. And I'm understanding, even Matt last night said, hey, if you're wanting to get to the NFR, you understand that is a lifestyle change. Are you willing to make a lifestyle change this year?
Yep.
Well, no, I'm still so heavily invested in Stall High, and I'm having fun building this community, and I'm learning so much from it. But I definitely want to get started. I don't want to start cold in 23 or 24. So if I can designate 23 to making progress, to getting myself prepared to capitalize on that 6-week window in the fall that Matt talks about. So for someone like me, my age, my lifestyle, I don't ride 6 to 10 horses a day like I used to. Okay. I might ride 1 a day, or sometimes 2, maybe 3, but not every day, because it's not my primary source of income anymore. So it's been a lifestyle change to start this app. So I'm curious to see what kind of program you will design for me and for people who want to join me. How can they book with you? Lori, will you drop that in the comment section? It's posted in the Stall High app. How can they get their hands on the first step with Martin?
Yep. Yeah, it's always the same. Health coach, like any coach, first we need to understand where we are, then we need to understand where we're going, and we build back from there, right? Like always start with the goal in mind. Where do you want to go? And then you need to assess where are you now, and then we need to make a plan. So if you want to have your top form 6 weeks in September or October, whenever that is, we need to build you to that.
Yes, so I want to capitalize on his 6-week window. So it's going to be right at the end. So it's going to begin at the end of September. Okay. And it's going to run for like, there's 6 weeks where you could, if you're good, and you got to get there, right? I may not get it done this year, but I can try. That's RC's word. That's what his mom always told him. At least try.
Yeah.
You're not going to know unless you try. And I know one thing for sure, I'm going to be better than I am today. I'm going to be better tomorrow because we're on a mission and we're doing it together. So if I don't make it through 2023's window of opportunity, that's okay. It's going to help me save time and money and disappointment just to hold back a year, get myself a little higher up in the standings so I can jump through that next year's window of opportunity, because I really don't want to chase my tail all over the nation. That's expensive. I don't want to make those long, crazy hours for 11 months. I'd rather give it everything I've got for 6 weeks and find out if it's good enough.
Yep. Very good strategy. Focused energy. Laser.
Yes, we're getting laser focused so that we can rodeo anxiety free in 23. That was our tagline. Lori, did I miss anything? Lori Roth in Nacogdoches, Texas. Call this one a
I don't
wrap.
think so. I think it's good.
Yeah.
And the link, yeah, I put the link in the Zoom comments, and then you'll find, like, if you're watching from Facebook or YouTube, you'll find it in the video description as well.
Anybody on our Zoom link from the Stall High app have a comment or a question before we close today?
I got a question.
What you got?
Okay, so if someone decides, okay, they're going to start on this health journey and they start eating right and trying to get the enzymes right and all that stuff, how long does it take to start seeing good results before you know what I'm saying? Because some people give up too quick.
Yeah.
So
About a week for every year that you have not done right.
okay.
So 20 weeks for a 40-year-old who's been living boozy, abusey life. I'm not saying you have. It will be shorter for you. You look pretty healthy to
Oh
me.
no, I'll tell you I have. That's fine.
That is a great question. And what an awesome answer, just so that we know, so that we don't get frustrated at the 10-week mark. Huh.
Well, you'll be getting better as you go. It's just that if you want the top form, you can expect, the 80-year-olds take a year to fix.
Years of, okay. This is good. This has been a great stall talk. Martin, thank you so much for your expertise as well. We enjoyed meeting RC. Patricia, that was a great question to end on. All right, everybody, if you are listening for the first time and you're maybe joining us on YouTube or Facebook or TikTok, hello, TikTok friends, and you're curious about what's going on, download the Stall High app. It's free. You can be part of the free community feed. You can meet people that you see here on the Zoom. You can interact with them and other people that are equally interested in becoming a better horse owner, a better rider, and going to the next level with your horse. If you want to join me and my team and my community, and you want help with your personal horse, that's what we do at Stall High. And we want to really look at the total health, not just physical fitness, but we want to be mentally well for our horses, and finance factors in, and so does faith. So we have these discussions on a daily basis in our interactive mentorship program, and I'm happy to get you plugged in with that. It's very easy to get involved. Just download the Stall High app. You can ask questions there, or you can always reach out to me. I'm Kendra at Stall High, or there's Lori. There she is, moderating. She's waving. Gorgeous.
Hey.
Roth.
And-
You can always email Lori at Stall High or info at Stall High, and we will get you plugged in at Stall High. Martin?
Next week, ask me about what this is.
Okay, no spray?
Well, yeah, when you are communicating with a lot of people up close, you
Okay.
end up transferring their internal terrain into yours. And sometimes your nose starts running because they sent you a gift.
My nose runs all the freaking time. My grandmother's did and mine does. So I'm
I'll
going to
talk
keep
to you
that one to
about that someday too, if you want to talk about what causes and constant nose running. I have some answers on that, but I'm talking about like when you catch the flu or the big V or whatever
Yeah.
it is that people
Yeah.
catch these days. I would like to talk about that when.
Okay. I'm circling it now. I'm putting a star beside it. So that's our topic for next week. And yes, I do want to know about, actually I was riding last night during the Zoom. I'm listening to Matt and I have my tissue. Like they call me the tissue bandit. Like my friends, like don't put on one of my jackets, guys, if you're cold, because you're going to find a pocket full of tissue in both sides. And they're not always new tissues, but my nose has run as long as I can remember. And that's super frustrating when you're trying to ride a horse and your hands are busy. So yeah, that's going to be an awesome topic next week. I'm looking forward to hearing your answers.
All right.
Everybody, thanks for being here for Stall Talk. Thank you, Lori Roth. Thank you for all of our Stall High members here. And for those of you in Interactive, I'll see you tonight at 6 o'clock. Bye,
you all.
everybody. Thanks, Martin. See y'all later.
Mhm.